Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your weekly dungeon run. My name is Gabe Cooper. I am the rogue. Ben Lindsay is our cleric. David Pizzo is our fighter. Tracy Newport is our is our wizard. How are you doing, everybody? We're talking about Druid Lord's Relics of the Dead, and I'm really excited to do so.
I'm ready for a
fight.
fight.
I have rolled for initiative, and this whiskey is going to make a Constitution save at some point tonight.
Nice.
Man, let's go to Florida, y'all.
Magic is just something that's not. It's just science unexplained.
He's sticking his toe.
That's my wizardry.
His wizardry, yeah. Red-bearded wizardry. This band, Relics of the Dead, released on January 21st of 2022, the third studio album by Druid Lord from Hell's Headbangers Records. By the time of 41 minutes and 23 seconds, the band is Eldon Santos on drums, Pete Slate on guitars and mellotron, Tony Black on vocals and bass, and Chris Wicklin on guitars.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I need you to go back to that cover because I need that to be what we're looking at.
So, for those of you who can't see this, this is a picture of, what you might see coming to the end of that dungeon run I was talking about at the beginning. The final boss, the evil keeper of the dungeon who you've been trying to find and take his treasure.
Yes, this is so like 80s D&D internal art.
God. Dude, fucking Charlemagne resurrecting? Yeah.
Yeah. A decrepit corpse with either smoke or eldritch energy coming out of its eyes and cackling sharp teeth with a beard with the crown upon its head rising from a grave, while some cloaked figure with a skull staff and a necklace with feathers or bones on it cowers in the back. It is so epic.
Yeah, there's skeletons hanging on the wall, and you can tell it's just bad.
He's resurrecting him. He's bringing him back.
Maybe. He could be doing that.
But I agree the stance is... Sorry, we don't have to deconstruct this. I'm like, that stance looks a little powery to me. Sorry.
He's resurrecting him. He's the necromancer.
There's bad
I do think he's
a
a necromancer. But yeah. It's like, this actually worked. In a very Frankenstein.
There's a tiny bit of that element. Like, shit.
Gotta go. Whoops, I woke up the dead guy.
Whoopsie. Oh, why? I'm out. Not what I wanted, even though it is.
Yeah.
Well, shit, dude. Charlemagne also looks so pissed. Like, I'd be a little bit regretting the decision to make this happen if I were the first living thing he was going to see. Like, that's not a great.
He definitely looks like he's been binging on bath salts for a few days. So.
Oh, it's Florida, dude. It's Orlando. Like, what do you think's going on down there?
Indeed.
This font is Orlando. It's not quite Tampa, but still, I mean, Florida comes hard, man.
It's got some Tampa dirty on it.
Orlando is its own special.
It is its own special. So what brought this to your attention, Gabe, other than this epic album cover?
I was going to pick something that was definitely more experimental than this, but I saw that this was a new release this month. So I decided to get it because I am on a little bit of an excursion into Death Doom territory, and in this case, Doom Death territory. And this band is doing quite a bit of that in this nerdy kind of D&D way. And this record has a great atmosphere to it, and I wanted to pick something that had atmosphere as well. I ended up listening to the record before this that this band made, and it's not exactly the same thing, but it's in a similar style, and it's also pretty fun. So I thought I would see if you guys liked it too.
Well, I did. I'm going to make a weird allegory here, and that listening to this was kind of like watching the horror movie Jeepers Creepers. There's just something about it that is both ludicrous but also very entertaining and cool.
Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers?
You mean like the troll movies? like that kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's just like, well, I mean, and part of it is also in Jeepers Creepers. He's driving around in like an old beat up like tow truck, and this is the tow truck coming down the road to run you over but it's also like Jason in that it goes the same speed, but you can't seem to outrun it.
Yeah, with the weird ass horn.
Yeah. But the guitar, actually the tone on like the guitars and the bass on this are so good. You know, this is it is a resurgent time for death metal, or doom death in this case. The tempo actually reminded me of Sledge, and we know how much I like that. The vocals are death metal-y, but you can understand them. There was a lot to like on this.
When Gabe said told us how he came across it, I thought he just put it in search for Cavernous death metal releasing in January and picked what album off of there.
I wish, Tracy, this isn't Cavernous death metal though.
It's not.
I wish.
It is not.
It's scratching a lot of the same sound as
Cerebral Rot.
Yes, it's scratching a lot of that same itch, or to say it's scratching this. It's
I would say that it's similar to Cerebral Rot in that it is a love letter to the genre, but it's not quite as in-jokey.
And it's a lot slower.
It is a lot slower.
It is.
On average, it is very slow.
On average, and this is what I'm going to say. I believe you, and you know what I'm going to say. You know, they've got a great sound. He's a menacing.
They've got to go faster.
They've got to go faster. Just a little. Just give me a little more speed. Just once in a while. They don't, and that's okay. The atmosphere they create, Gabe, I'm very much in agreement. Or the horror movie you're describing, it's cool. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I listened to this album a bunch of times, but I just need it to be a little faster. But you know, of course, I would say that. I mean, yeah, drink. Did you think I was not going to say that? Absolutely not.
Not for a minute.
We know you, David. We know what you like. Yeah, I think
Go ahead. Pardon.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, like, I think I do enjoy the picture. I think they paint the picture they're going for really well, with also just their use of samples throughout it, just to add a little bit of a creepiness to it, and just the downright griminess that they're able to bring out in their music with it.
Holy shit, Tracy actually liked the samples.
Yeah, that's surprising to me.
Boy, you'd have like a 10-second, if that, even like record like a snippet from like Planet of the Apes or something, and just like a doctor, and just like next. It's not Tool where you have a full fucking song and nothing but samples that make no goddamn sense.
You mean Rob Zombie?
That too.
Ministry.
Like
Ministry.
The work is not dependent on the samples.
You're dependent on them.
I know that's just you lashing out, Dave, because I'm right.
Fine. What I will say is, when I heard this, I'm like, you know who's going to like this a lot? Benjamin.
You were right. I did like this a lot.
Like, killing someone at this speed with a brick is exactly like your sort of. That's a sweet spot, I think, for you, right?
It's that God of Emptiness feel to it.
Yeah.
It is.
If Crowbar were resurrecting a lich, like this is essentially how that would sound.
Yeah. This is like in that one space Gabe managed to find where like sludge, Southern groove overlaps into death, and I'm here for it. I really did enjoy this sound quite a bit. I don't know how groundbreaking it is, but man, does it sound good and scratch all. I mean, I also worship at the altar of thrash, so I also like things to be fast, but I'm okay if the riffs are appropriately crushing, that it's not, and this is in that space for me.
And this cover alone, just you can't step to this. I know some people can't see it. If you are listening to us rather than watching, please Google this cover just to understand.
Pause, Google, and look.
It's majesty. Like, I need that as an oil painting, like 10 feet by 10 feet. I need Delacroix size like that.
If Robin ever messages me what to get you for your birthday, and we send her like he wants a wall panel.
Oh my god! If I had a large, I mean, I would display it. I would replace my office door with this. I mean, this is.
We could probably get you a poster to put on your office door.
This nothing but this.
You're probably on your way out anyway. So what are they going to do?
What are they going to do? I'm going to resurrect fucking Charlemagne under them. That's what I'm going to do. In those steam tunnels.
Yep.
Oh, I think that's the shield, man, behind his head. That's the three-star shield. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Live and do or die, man. Right there.
Has anybody not shared their thoughts on the album?
I didn't really say too much, but I guess other than the fact that it's like a good, creepy kind of festering atmosphere, I also think there's a bunch of riffs on this record that are so filthy and so fun. And I can't say that I don't agree with David in that at points I just wish it would go a little bit faster. But I think that it might also, kind of uproot or destroy what they're trying to do if it were to, go up to thrash tempo, for example. So I get it. And also I wanted to say that I think that what Ben said at the very beginning is pretty apt in terms of like the creepiness and the silliness happening at the same time. I mean, you really feel that at multiple points in the record, and that's totally intentional. It's not by accident.
Totally.
I think these are guys that are fans of the genre that really like God of Emptiness. Is like, I want a whole album like that, and we're going to make it. And they did.
And they did a really good job of it. Yeah. Tracks, kind of like them all, honestly. In that I do feel like that if you like one of these tracks, you're probably going to like all of them because they're similar in quality. You may not like listening to all of them at the same time, to David's point about, maybe wanting some different tempo or something. But Relics of the Dead, Day of Death, Nightside Conjuring. I mean, I could list all of them, but what would the point be?
What would the point be? All 8. Oh wait, that means a drink. And usually it's not Ben who says that, but
I think they're all pretty good. I think the first 3 prior to Nightside Conjuring, I think, are a little bit better than the back 3, because I'm counting Ethereal Decay as a closer. It's only 54 seconds of a sample. And you have that split there with Nightside Conjuring. So you really have an album of 2 3s, and I think the first 3 is better than the back 3, but they're all pretty good.
You're a back 3. I think they're all pretty good. This album is listenable. I didn't mind it. It was very extremely not mindable. It was heavy, and that was cool. And feeling like I was being torn apart by bath salt fueled alligators in a dungeon the atmosphere was tight. But maybe if they were a little maybe if 1 or 2 of them were a little faster. And Gabe, I don't need it to be thrash. I can meet them halfway. I can come to the edge of the swamp if they're willing to like come out and meet me. But they weren't willing to do that, and so like I stepped in it, and before you knew it, I was getting sucked down into it.
And you happened to be on the rowing machine at the same time.
Yes. On the rowing machine, up above it, but then he was down in it.
Now I'm down in it. Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So which tracks did you like? Sorry.
All or none. Like it's a whole ass vibe. So this isn't a thing I'd like, man, I just really need Nightside Conjuring. Like I'm not that person in this case. So I'd put it on though. If I were at Ben's house, he put it on and like whiskey were happening. Yeah, sure. Great. He likes it.
Whiskey would definitely be happening. Yeah.
Whiskey would definitely be happening, and it's heavy. I know, and as death metal's representative, I have to accept all of our wayward children, right? Like I can't, just because this is the genre of death, I'm like, speed up. And they're like, no, but they're still death. So it's still just a lot of death. Look at the names of these songs, by the way. Mangled is the hideous fade. I feel that. That's 2022, y'all.
Indeed. So I also I like the record as a whole, but I picked out 13 Days of Death as one that I really liked because it's sort of where their record, excuse the expression, starts to pick up speed. Mangled as the hideous feed is really, really, really doomy, and I like it. Immolated into Ashes is very good. I really, really love Festering Tombs. A lot of filthy riffs there, and Monarch Macabre, which is for me the actual closer. It feels epic. That's where I see the end of the dungeon run happening, the boss fight, and it is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's Necromancer Charlemagne, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the cover, right? That's gotta be the guy.
Yeah, totally.
And Ethereal Decay is when you lose at the end of the dungeon run.
Oh, did we lose? Shit, Tracy.
Or you win.
That sounds like a lose because the back. I don't feel like that's a game-winning sound. Ethereal Decay.
Sometimes when you defeat the Lich, you become the Lich, Tracy.
Oh, ain't that the truth, Ben? 20th century. What?
So. Okay, time to grade this thing.
Gabriel.
So I think this is a great album. It only really lacks, I think, where, I could use a little bit more depth and a little bit more sort of speed in this, and then it would be, more up my alley than it already is. I also listened to their previous album, and it's more on the horror tribute end of things more explicitly, and it's a little bit better overall. But this one is still so much fun, so it's a great album. It's an A-.
I concur with Gabe. I think this is a great album. I not to sound like David, but if it had been faster, I probably would have liked it a little bit more. But again, I am here for where it was, and they could run me over in that tow truck anytime.
I'm sorry you hate to sound like me, but that's how I feel. Just give me this much, guys. They won't. I think this is absolutely 100% a good album. So I would not be sad if it came on. It's a vibe I can get behind. It's, we're all just rotting at this point. But I just need a tiny bit more adrenaline to get me into B+ territory. Once in a while, just give me this much. I know I keep saying it. You don't have to be Morbid Angel. Who could be? But,
For me, I'm going to come in there between everybody, and I'm going to give it a B+ and 88.
What's it, an A- then total, probably?
It
like
is
an 89 or a 90?
89, a high B+.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin it. I didn't mean to ruin your Black Panther party, but you knew what I was going to say. I didn't give it I'm not Ben,
No,
the Hef holster Lindsay. Like I didn't. -12.
Hey, B+ is totally good. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Or B. I would own this.
I will buy this, probably.
I don't think I would. I wouldn't buy it. Like, I like the album, but I don't think I would be an album I go back to consistently enough for me to buy it.
I would just go to Ben's house. I mean, that's where I would have heard it. And so I would return 100%. to that Doma style and just listen to it again with Ben, and it'd be a fun ride.
It's just a vibe of the Lindsay domain that brings it about.
I mean, but that's, music also brings people together. I don't need to own it to be in Ben's. I can just, if it's an excuse to see Ben, that's a win.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
100%. Totally agree. Little smoke, little whiskey, that album, beyond. All right, Tracy, what are we doing next time?
Next time, we're looking at Ben's pick in Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood.
Now it's time for something completely different.
Indeed.
Oh shit, that's Whiplash. I got it wasn't this week. Could you imagine if we had gone and then our fifth album, Dr. Feelgood?
It's going to happen next week, though. That Whiplash is going to happen.
Yeah. but it'll be fun.
Looking forward to it.
As always. Well, anyway, thank you all for listening. Again, if you haven't, go look at that album cover, and we'll catch you next time on the Metal Review.